The New York Knicks still have one roster spot left over, not used yet, despite the fact that we are only a month away from the season. So today we're going to speculate on who will be getting that roster spot, and we're going to talk about why that roster spot has not been given out yet, despite the fact that we are this close to the NBA season. So what's up, guys? Welcome to Knicks Digest. My name is Chris. We are talking the final roster spot on the New York Knicks. Who is going to be their 15th man? That is today's question. And if you have followed the Knicks for a while, if you have followed what Leon Rose does, you know that he is patient with contracts and contract extensions. We saw RJ get extended very late. We saw the Josh Hart extension sort of drag out. We've seen the Knicks make signings very close to opening night. So this is not new. And that makes me think that Leon Rose does have a plan of what he's going to do with that final roster spot. And there's a few directions that Leon can go here. I mean, one thing that's very clear is the Knicks could use another big man. Not exactly a center, but they could use another power forward. I mean, Tibbs has experimented with some Isaiah Hartenstein, Jericho Sims lineups when they play together. But I personally don't like that. I want our power forward to be a good three-point shooter. The way it looks now, between the Josh Hart stuff from Team USA and then Julius Randle being an absolute warrior, we know that that's where almost all of the regular power forward minutes are going to go. Steve Kerr just said Josh Hart's position is winner. He doesn't play a position, he plays the position of winner. He helps teams win. And also power forwards are only around 6'8", maxing out now. You rarely get like a 6'11" power forward outside of like Evan Mobley. So Hart will be fine there. But I do want to see another big guy for those lineups. I mean, Julius Randle can't play 48 minutes a night. And I don't love Hartenstein and Sims together. So I would love if the Knicks could sign a 6'9" guy who could shoot threes. Or bring back a former New York Knick who has helped them a lot, especially off the court, and give leadership. And if you don't know where I'm going with this, I am talking about Taj Gibson. Now, when this offseason began, I really wanted, or even before the offseason began, when the Knicks offseason began, I wanted their backup power forward to be Carmelo Anthony. However, Carmelo Anthony broke every Knicks fan's heart by retiring before we could see a retirement tour that he deserved. But I digress. I don't need to talk about Carmelo Anthony right now, or I won't shut up for an hour. The real story here is Taj Gibson is a guy who the Knicks could bring back. He has some semblance of a three-point shot. He's great for the locker room. He's a New York guy. He fits the culture. He knows Tibbs well. He's played for Tibbs on 3 different teams, on the Bulls, on the Timberwolves, and then on the Knicks. We could see a 4th Taj Gibson, Tom Thibodeau reunion. I think that would be great. But there's also other directions they could go in. Because when you look at this, something seems very clear to me. The Knicks have 2 options here. They could either sign a young player, some sort of younger guy, I'm not saying sign a rookie, but some sort of younger guy who has some upside. I think it's what they were trying to do with Isaiah Roby, but he was just flat out uninspiring in Summer League, and it really feels like that was an experiment that just unfortunately failed. Oh well, they then went out, got Nathan Knight. I know he's not on a guaranteed contract, and he almost certainly will be on the Knicks G League team, but that's another name you could look at. And then we could go to 2 familiar faces when it comes to younger guys, but neither of them are big men. Because the 2 I'm thinking of are Theo Pinson, which is almost certainly not going to happen. It feels like somehow that bridge got burned. And then the Villanova man himself, the former Nova starting point guard, former New York Knick, Ryan Arcidiacono. Obviously, the chemistry's already there. You got Josh Hart, you got Jalen Brunson. And obviously, Hart and Arcidiacono were actually traded for each other, so they didn't get to play together on the Knicks. But they played together on Villanova. They know each other well. They're friends. Brunson and Arcidiacono are friends. It's just another Nova Knicks connection. Did I not mention Dante DiVincenzo, who's also from the Nova Knicks connection? So we could totally see them going that way, as we've seen with the Kentucky connection and all that. So we know that Leon likes to keep it in the family. I've talked about this before. So essentially we could see Ryan Arcidiacono come back, but the Knicks do not need another point guard. They just really don't. Evan Fournier's still under that contract with the Knicks, and he hasn't been moved yet. It feels like he's going to get traded, but we also have not heard anything about that. So that could also, on a separate note, that could have an effect on why they haven't signed someone. And maybe they're going to, I don't know, they'll probably get some sort of basketball player in return for Evan Fournier instead of just getting picks. And that's because of the contract. I don't know if there's any team right now that could just eat $18 million and give the Knicks the trade exception that they probably want. I would guess there isn't. Who knows what the trade would be? One thing I've floated around a little in my head is to try to bring back Doug McDermott. I think that kind of kills two birds with one stone. Then you still have that 14th spot, and in that situation, I say give it to Taj Gibson or Arcidiacono. It really doesn't matter. Just give someone who's going to get the vibes better. Because obviously the Knicks have great vibes, but they could always be improved upon. I would love if Taj Gibson came back for one more year with the Knicks and just played that Udonis Haslem role, especially if the Knicks went out and acquired someone like McDermott who can play the power forward position and isn't just much shorter like Josh Hart is. So that's sort of another direction they could go in. That fully depends on what happens with this Evan Fournier stuff, because it's pretty clear he's not going to come back to the roster and actually get minutes, and he believes that he deserves NBA minutes, and I would be inclined to agree with him. So we're going to assume that Evan Fournier is not on the Knicks for much longer, and they'll get someone back. But let's just say that they didn't trade Fournier. Say the Knicks just colossally screw this up and have Fournier sitting on the bench, or maybe just not even showing up, because we've seen that happen before, usually with bigger names though, so who knows. But we've seen that happen before, so if Fournier were to stick around, then I think they need to go out and sign a stretch four. Just someone who's not going to command a ton of minutes, someone who you could literally just give DNPs to and they're not going to be upset with it. Someone who's a fringe rotational player who can hit threes, play enough defense, and just add some size to a Knicks roster that's really lacking just a shooting big man. And essentially, if they can do that, then they're in much better position, because there is going to be moments when Josh Hart can just not play power forward. When the Knicks play Cleveland, they cannot have him guard Evan Mobley. Mobley is too tall. I don't care what people say about strength and anything like that. It doesn't matter. And also, Julius is coming back off of this ankle injury. I don't think we're going to see Julius Randle play 38 minutes a night out the gate. Knowing Tibbs, he'll probably end up playing Randle around 45 minutes per night by December. But at the moment, I could see Randle starting a little slowly, both minutes-wise and play-wise, just because he's coming off of the first major injury he's had since his rookie year when he broke his leg. And the Knicks are going to need someone with actual size who's actually the height of an NBA power forward more often, whereas Josh Hart can then sort of slide into the backup 2, 3, and then mainly 4. With that all being said, I don't know what the Knicks are going to do. If I had to take a guess, I think they're going to bring back a familiar face. Leon Rose, I just said it. He likes to keep it in the family. So I would assume that that's what's going to happen. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going to go out, they're going to make a trade involving Evan Fournier, bring back some sort of forward, and then go out and just sign Taj Gibson, have the vibes right, or sign Arcidiacono, have the vibes right. I would assume that they would sign Gibson over Arcidiacono, mainly because he has just that New York connection, and Tibbs does still have pull. More than the Nova Knicks, I would guess. With that all being said, thank you so much for tuning into this video, guys. We are on that grind. We are going to be consistently coming out with videos every day of Knicks news, because this basketball dead season is basically over. Training camp is in sniffing distance. I cannot wait for Knicks basketball. I'm wearing it on the hat. I got the jersey on. I am so excited for this season, and I'm so excited to see what the Knicks do with this final roster spot, because it really does have implications on what happens in the future with this team, in the direct future, in this season, because of how the roster shakes out. We're going to see different rotations, and I just cannot wait. So make sure to like and subscribe, because these videos, we are going to have butterfingers the way we keep dropping vids. Get ready for it, guys. We are on that grind. So make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe. We're going to have way more videos like this talking about Knicks news and speculating. We're going to go into trade reactions. Then once the season gets around, we're going to have game recaps. We're going to be doing so much. You guys will not want to miss it if you are a New York Knicks fan. Knicks Digest to the moon, everybody. Let's go. Have a great rest of your day, and go Knicks.